Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee and Crypto. Today we've got Nerd Love Infinity with us as a special guest. He was here last week as well. And today there's two main topics I want to cover. We're going to talk about a game, Ragnarok Labyrinth NFT. Super excited to talk to you about this. It's like all we've been doing for like the last week or two. And then I'm going to talk about Elon buying Twitter because we got some information, some news just came out about how Binance is getting in on that. So we want to talk a little bit about what that's going to mean for the crypto space, play to earn, Twitter, Elon, all that fun stuff. But let's dive right into it. So first, maybe we should give some people some background on Ragnarok Online, which is really where we first got started as kids with this. When you first started playing, what kind of got you involved and how long did you really keep up with it?
I started playing Ragnarok online, but like pretty much the moment that North American players could adapt a way to play a translated version of the Southeast Asian version of the game, like the very first iteration of the game, I was playing it because I had a lot of Asian friends at the time, friends from the Philippines and friends who always got to visit their families in China. And they always gave me these kinds of like ways to access, translated versions of things and things like that early. So because of that made it kind of predate just about any MMO I'd ever played. It was the first MMO, like true MMO that I ever played. When World of Warcraft came out, I was like, there's a few things here that aren't as good as Ragnarok. And that was ages ago, Even before Diablo 2, that was the MMO.
Yeah, that was what got me into that genre. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the first computer I ever built, I remember, I think it was between 12 and 14 years old. I built it specifically to play this game. Like that was why I remember doing like mowing lawns all summer and delivering newspapers to save up money to slowly buy the computer components. And then I finally put it together and the whole goal was just to be able to play Ragnarok online. Yeah. And that took probably quite a few years of my life.
Oh, me too. I remember staying up like in my bed waiting for my parents to go to bed and then like waiting for that okay, we're definitely their sleep point so that I could go play more Ragnarok till 3 a.m. And I'd done that as a kid because I liked it so much.
And then there was a lot of like private servers and stuff that happened afterwards. So kind of the main game, I feel like we got the most out of that. Like I think I had like 4 or 5 max level characters. I kind of felt like the game was done. And then I started playing a lot of private servers where people were tweaking a lot of the things.
Levels,
making it
drop levels
easier or harder to do certain things. And it became more community oriented. I remember even being on like IRC back then, if you remember, to chat with people in the community and all that stuff.
Oh boy, that brings me back. Yeah.
It does. And then there was all kinds of iterations. Like they tried making future Ragnarok games after that. And most of them I just feel like didn't quite have that magic.
It never hit. Yeah. And I think it was because they were using an older gameplay system in a newer generation that hadn't changed much, and they were relying too heavily on nostalgia. But then the parts they did change of the game, like because most of the newer titles there was Ragnarok 2, which was a 3D version.
That's what I remember.
It just was too much like WoW, and WoW was out at the time, so it was just a less good WoW with anime graphics at the time, which was unfortunate because I really would have liked to have that magic again with it. But
same.
Yeah, I feel like the mobile ones, that was what was missing, is that they were trying to change features, but the ones they were trying to change weren't the important things.
Yeah. Well, what I found finally, the one that really got me was this idle game. It was Ragnarok Idle, and I can't remember the particular name, but it was quite a few years ago. And it was just an AFK type. There was 800 maps, and you'd slowly progress through the maps, and you could prestige. And when this new game came out, the Ragnarok Labyrinth NFT, I felt like it was the perfect merger between Ragnarok Online and this idle game. So like the crafting, the gear, the cards, all of that was exactly the same as the idle game. So for me, I felt like out of all the years that I've been waiting for kind of a new Ragnarok game, this one's really hitting it home. And then, of course, the NFT part is why we're even really so invested into it.
Crypto is insane. And what we mean by that is that there's a currency they've kind of attached with this. So what's interesting about this game for all of you viewers out there is that it's not necessarily your character is an NFT on the blockchain that you own the character and the items. It's that you're playing a game and then the achievements and the things within that game earn you a currency every day that you then trade for currency.
Yeah, and what I really like about it, I think it's good to compare it to Wax. So you're earning this on buff token, but the on buff token is its own network marketplace where you can buy collectible NFTs and all this stuff. So the OnBuff token has actually been out for quite a while, and you're earning that in the game, and then you can extract the OnBuff token out of the game. So let me give you an example. There's like a bunch of daily quests, and each daily quest you're earning like 10 to 30 OnBuff token. And then the OnBuff token is worth maybe 2 cents as an example. You can extract that out of the game. And what I really liked how they did that is, what's cool about it is there's a high trade volume right now. And when you just look, I think I looked the other day, there was over $2 million in 24-hour trade volume just in this token. Now that's not necessarily all just from this Ragnarok Labyrinth NFT game, I assume, because it's got its own marketplace. But that just means there's enough liquidity in that token that it's really helping promote a positive experience with the game, because liquidity is a big concern, right?
Yeah. See, I've noticed that too, is that like, people are afraid of microtransactions. And like, I can tell that microtransactions are just baked into a lot of the apps on this network. But in a way, that's kind of a good thing, because that's probably fueling the pool with which they're giving these token rewards to everybody as well.
Well, we should take a moment to explain that, because these guys, in my opinion, were the first ones to properly kind of merge this Web 2 traditional mobile style. Because yes, there is microtransactions. You can attach your credit card and buy the monthly pass, or buy the super expensive $100 premium chest, which just seem absurd.
Some of these are just not valued right.
But that's the stuff that you would see typically in the mobile genre. But then you're also earning this cryptocurrency. And I thought, well, that's kind of clever, because you're getting money coming into the system, but they're actually using that money to give back in their cryptocurrency instead of the money just going to the development team. And I've never seen a game balance this yet. I think there was two other ones. Like there was a tower defense one. I can't quite remember the name, but same thing. I started playing it and I'm like, this isn't crypto. This is microtransactions everywhere. And I actually couldn't figure out where the crypto component was. So I just kind of gave up the game. With Ragnarok, the crypto component was super easy to understand right away. Okay, you've got this OnBuff token, but you can also do microtransactions. And hey, it's good for people to do the microtransactions, because now we're earning money back from it.
And I think we should say, like, it's good, assuming that they're planning to divide that. The only thing I'm noticing here that's missing is there's no real white paper RevDis. RevDis is the really clear one that I need to know, because it's all good and well if they're taking tons of money in as microtransactions, but if none of that money is going back into the system in terms of giving us OnBuff points, that sort of defeats the purpose. They're still, that's just kind of creating an excuse to take some tokens. And
I guess, and it is kind of an assumption of me to think that that's happening. But the reason I am is when you do the math and you look at how much OnBuff are you earning versus what it is, it was like,
and how much you paid.
It was like $5 a day I was making as a free to play player. Now think about that in a third world country or somewhere else. Like, to us, sure, that's not a ton of money, but hey, I'd love to play a game that makes me $50 a month, that covers my monthly passes, that covers the microtransactions that I'm playing.
I think this is the first step on the road to creating a balanced model between like Web 2 and Web 3. Because, like an NFT game doesn't always have to be explosive 200x, oh my gods. Like sometimes it can just be, hey, you made more than what you put in on the game and a little bit extra on top of that, and you got fun gameplay for a year, which is something you'd have already paid for with a normal video game anyway, right? So that's the thing, is that it doesn't know. I just like the idea of being able to kind of, even if I'm earning just enough to pay the subscription fee and just play the subscribed version of the game, but without actually paying for any, like without actually using my own money. It's just reciprocally going back into the system. That just means I can play it for free as long as I want with all the content available. So.
And that's the thing with a lot of mobile games. I know for me personally, there's almost this guilt factor involved when I'm buying those microtransactions, or I'm using my hard-earned money, spending $100 on a game to get all these shiny loot boxes and stuff. It doesn't feel good. You know, like there's a part of me that's like, oh, am I wasting this money? I don't really know how I feel about it. This feels fine because I know I'm earning it back. Obviously, with anything, you can go too far. Don't buy the $150 premium loot chest microtransactions. Those are
monitor how much is coming in before you decide how much you're going to expend on.
But I don't get that guilt sense now.
No,
right?
Sure,
because
definitely.
I'm like, okay, let's be respectable on how much I put in, but let's also now track and calculate what I'm earning and find a nice balance there. Or hey, maybe 1 month later on, I decide not to buy the subscriptions. This is the month I'm going to stockpile stockpile my currency, pull out because I want the extra $100-200 out of it. And I have that ability to choose now.
Yeah, and I really do like that it's all like because when I went and investigated the Eno token or whatever, the Onnit token,
Yep.
I was like, how is this 2 years old? Like, how is there a 2-year long history here on CoinGecko when this Ragnarok game is brand new? And according to these guys, it's the first like mobile game they took and just added a crypto layer to. So it's like, well, it's because they had all these other NFT collections and stuff that, like you explained before, that's where the liquidity was coming from. But man, I think this is a much better way of taking like an old school style game like for mobile and then making it like able to earn you crypto, as opposed to like the Phaeton Arena route where it's like they literally like just sort of invented a tokenomics model, invented tokens, minted them, and then added that into an existing game. That like, I mean, I'm sure anyone who's played Phaeton Arena, myself included, knows where that went, right? So when you have this, where it's, you know, you don't have an inflationary system because you have free-to-play players flooding in with stuff. You have people playing for free and earning a little bit or next to nothing, and then you have people who put in liquidity that are earning more. And then everyone's on the same playing field. Yeah. Like me having put money in with my Ragnarok pass does not make me more powerful than you. I might get to level 99 quicker than you, but we'll both get to level 99. We'll both get the same on-buff points along the way because we did dailies. Yep. You know, I like that. It makes it more even.
And I guess a good way to kind of explain the format of the game is it is an AFK idler type game, so you're not manually clicking to do all the attacking. Really what you're doing is navigating menus and completing quests, crafting gear, optimizing your build. So what I like about that too is it's something that I can have playing off on the side, kind of running consistently, but I don't have to be there and spend 8 hours a day on top of it.
So I've quickly realized that I don't want to do that with crypto games. Like if I'm earning from the game, I don't want to I don't want to have to spend 6 hours in the game actively playing. Because you'd think as a gamer, you're like, well, I want to play a game that I can just like lose my life to. But it's like, if you have to do that to earn the token, then when you are not losing your life to it, you're not getting your money out of it. So it's kind of nice having that idle grinder balance. And for the people who have played a lot of Ragnarok and MMOs and you're like, well, idle for the whole game, that sounds kind of lame. There are parts where you get to be active, activate your skills. There's War of Imperium, raids, big MVP things, those kinds of things still exist. It's just that middle part that we all did in Ragnarok anyway, where we just go to this area, we know this one thing drops the thing we want, grind it for 6 days. We're just taking that 6 days part of manually clicking and turning it into, it does that on its own. You just wait for the loot to arrive and then start optimizing and go to the next thing.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing to mention too, the guild aspect, because that's something we've been really enjoying at Blu Ocean Games Guild. We were able to form a guild within the game and recruit openly within the game. And now we're bringing in players in the NFT version of the game into our community, into our game guild that we're meeting in the game. And that's just really exciting to me because we're kind of seeing the guild grow from multiple different games, multiple different aspects, and we're bringing people in from the game, not other way.
I've also gotten a lot of my friends who are skeptical or a little scared of crypto to get into this game too, because I've explained that, hey, there's no commitment up front. You can earn some passive earnings from playing it. The earnings come from the dailies and such, not from what equipment you bought, and it's not pay to win. Yes. So as soon as they're like, oh, it's Ragnarok, it's not pay to win, I don't need an initial investment just to dip my toe in the water, and it's crypto, I'm in, right? So I think this is one of those really great systems for onboarding people into a truly, NFT from the start system. Then they might want to go down the rabbit hole more and start with like find a project before it's even started.
Yeah.
Like a true Web3 project.
I also like how you can just kind of avoid the crypto thing at first.
Yeah.
You can just play the game, get comfortable with the game, and then you go into the settings and there's like, there's a connect wallet thing. And then it brings you to a separate website where you can connect the wallet, extract the token, do the exchange type things that you need to. So you're not in the game trying to figure out this whole crypto system, which is intimidating to a lot of players at first who don't know.
Agreed.
So you can just kind of completely avoid that, play the game, and then slowly learn about the crypto. And when you're comfortable or you're ready, jump into that. So it doesn't force it down people's throats. It actually allows people to choose when they actively want to participate in the crypto opportunity in the game, which is something I also haven't seen before. Every other game is like, nope, you're going to the exchange, you're buying the BNB token to pay for gas fees.
You've got this wallet, trip to this, and then you got to make sure you got got enough on the side for this and that. Like that's already 5 steps there. Most people are already intimidated by that.
Yeah, or you got to watch a YouTube video to figure out how to install the wallet or how to set up an exchange and that's the hurdle for onboarding a lot of people into this space, is that initial process. There's a learning curve to it.
Yeah.
You can't just download, install the game, and hit play. With the Ragnarok Labyrinth NFT, you can download the game, hit play, do your thing. Later on, go into the crypto aspect.
Yeah, and that's why I like these kind of these newer models of play to earn, where I'm seeing kind of play and earn, where it's like, hey, if you bought some NFTs, you put some liquidity, you care about that half of the game, there is a limited amount of stuff here. You can make earnings off this game, but there's also a totally free to play version. Like Luvium's doing this. You can play Luvium for free totally. You just won't earn anything off of it, which is fine. If the game's fun enough, people will do that and it'll be great. And playing enough of it, they might want to invest later down the road too, right? But I like it when it's separate like that, when you can just enjoy the game if you just want to play a new game. And then if you're, if and when that crypto part comes up and you want to cash out and you think you have enough, then you can figure that out on your own. Go to the Discord, learn more about crypto that way.
Yeah, and it's unique that they're doing this. And I was really surprised. I was just super excited that there was a Ragnarok NFT game. Yeah. But to see that they've done this kind of unique model successfully so far is also just really exciting to see innovation in the play to earn space, because seeing all these companies try these different things and different models is to me half the excitement, because we're in that learning phase. Companies don't know.
Is what we're still trying to figure out, all of us, the devs too.
And it brings back that nostalgic aspect for people like me and Nerd Love, because we played this game when we were so much younger. And that also makes me want to talk about a little bit with some of the NFT FUD that goes on. Because really, I feel like when I hear a lot of people who are traditional gamers that are kind of, I don't want to really label them as anti-NFT, but they're very vocal about not liking NFTs, taking over their games. I feel like 9 times out of 10, when you dig into that, it's because they're relating them to microtransactions. So the same way that people were anti-mobile, anti-microtransaction, and without saying, too many names, there's been some game companies that went really heavy that route. Oh, definitely. Even so much so that on consoles you're riddled with microtransactions. They almost brought the mobile microtransaction issue into the console, and it hurt a lot of people, right? I wouldn't say it hurt them, but it upset them. And Dark Souls is actually a great example of a game that didn't do that, and I love that they didn't do that. An Elden Ring was nice. I feel like I paid a certain amount of money, I got a full game. Yeah. I didn't have to buy all these skins and additional stuff and all that. No. Ragnarok is making me feel like the microtransactions are healthy for the first time in gaming.
Yeah, I feel like in the mobile field, or games that are on Unity, or games that are meant to be playable like a mobile, I feel like that's going to be a really good model to go for. And it'll be it won't scare as many people away that way. I think I really like to see this with a lot more mobile on it, and they've made it clear that this is just the very first of many games they're going to NFTify like this.
Yeah, they're going to have a platform of games, kind of like Wax.
There's think of some of your most addictive games you've played in terms of successful ones on Google Play Store. For me, the number one that comes up, Fire Emblem Heroes. Yes, a micro version of Fire Emblem. Yeah. I remember I rolled some amazing heroes on that game. I was playing the meta of that game for a while. And then, all of a sudden, if they did that with NFT and the dailies are earning me, I'd want to play it all over again.
Me too. And I like that they're doing it in that kind of Wax network model where they've got all this liquidity that they're leveraging already from other titles, which is why Ragnarok didn't just tank when it first came out like some games do, because you need all this new money coming in. They leverage this network, this system. Yeah, it was really well done. We'll have information in the description below about, making sure to come into our Discord if you want to learn about this game, maybe join our guild. I know we're running into an issue where too many people are trying to join right now. We're trying to level up the guild right now.
The roster size for you guys enough. Speaking of networks, Twitter. Yes. I want to talk about Twitter.
Yes, we should. So obviously we all know Elon is winning this battle. He's buying Twitter.
I'm right behind this. I'm so for this.
Me too. When he started actually tweeting about that, I was retweeting and commenting and liking. I think the idea of having a platform that does promote free speech more is important. I mean, coming from a marketing background, both of us, we know a lot of the limitations and what's the polite way to say this? things that aren't allowed to go out because we deal with those rules. Like when you launch
daily
ads
basis,
and you launch all this stuff, there's this laundry list of stuff you're literally not allowed to say, do, have, etc. So that got me super excited. But then we actually just found out today another piece of news that Binance is joining in with I think 18 other entities with the purchase of Elon for Twitter, and they're putting in $500 million, $500 million.
An enormous amount of money.
So does that mean Binance is now collaborating with Elon? And if so, for $500 million, that's a huge ticket size. Not to Binance that has billions of dollars,
I'm sure
but
that's dropping the puddle. But definitely, that's not nothing that they're putting their foot behind, on this purchase. So, I mean, and that also gets me really excited because that means, are we going to have integrations? Are we going to have like much more, crypto trading abilities on Twitter? Like,
is MetaMask going to integrate with Twitter?
Yeah, are
Can
you going
we
to
tip
just
people?
be able to do that?
Right?
Yeah,
We've heard about the tipping thing, and I'm pretty sure that works in some countries, but not all. I haven't seen it in Canada yet, and I haven't seen it through my Twitter Blue subscription, but I heard about like the Lightning Network being able to tip creators where you can pay with, you connect your debit card to your Twitter account, you tap a button.
I've seen it on Twitch.
And basically, so what it does is you have your debit card or your bank account connected through Twitter, you hit a button, it takes your local currency, turns it into Bitcoin behind the scenes, sends it to that creator, converts back into their local currency, and they get paid out. So I'll give you an example. Say I want to tip a busker in Japan. I'll use $20 Canadian, I hit a button, they get their yen. But really what happened is my Canadian converted to Bitcoin, went through the network to them and swapped into yen. And both me and that creator didn't even need to know what happened. So now I could send my mom
dollars in, yen out. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and I could send my mom money in Venezuela now through Twitter, or I could send my family. So
bye Western Union.
I'm just saying about how that's all going to work. And another thing from my perspective too, running crypto or NFT ads on Twitter has been a nightmare. It's been something even I've been trying to actively learn aggressively for different clients for different reasons. There's so many hoops to jump through, so many legalities. I really hope that maybe Binance teaming up with Elon, we're going to get some easing of that.
In terms of ad requirements.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys an idea, he had to almost fill in, what was it? How many different languages?
Like
a separate form for
forms.
every language?
Every country wanted a separate legal form filled out basically to get approval to run ads specific to those people.
So you and a lawyer had to sign and notarize like every form for every country to be able to do that.
We just didn't.
Yeah.
Like it was
That's
like
what
you kind of looked at the workload and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I don't want to have to take a loan out just to apply to this, to put ads on Twitter, right?
So, and I mean, I understand there is SEC, there's regulatory boards that are involved that have to be concerned. There's all this stuff that I'm not sure of. I'm not an attorney, but geez, it would be nice if an NFT project could hit a button, pay some money, run an ad to promote their project a lot simpler.
Yeah.
And right now, I've only seen a few NFT projects be able to run. I have seen some, but they had to jump through all those hoops. So I'm really hoping that the Binance collaboration with Elon is going to just make it a lot more easy for
see
that.
A bunch of Binance ads the moment that they have that signed and
Hey,
dotted.
maybe we can use the BNB coin on Twitter for tips or something that.
Wouldn't that be nice? A low transaction fee thing to tip people with instead of having to pay.
It really would.
Yeah.
And I mean, just for me personally, I never was a big Twitter user before crypto.
Same. I didn't use it at all.
But the reason I got into it is I learned really quickly that the news seems to happen there first. Like if you want to stay up to date on certain projects or topics, it always seems to be relevant on Twitter first.
Yeah.
Then I noticed there'll be press releases that follow up.
That's because that's its original use case. I mean, a lot of people don't know that Twitter was meant to be like the replacement for the newspaper. It was meant to be the newspaper of the internet, but for the entire globe all the time. And the newspaper never needs to be printed. It's just always live updated. So that's what Twitter was meant to be. That's why they started with the little short form tweets, because they were meant to be just little headlines with just little snippets and then hashtags to connect it. Then they realized people really wanted to tell stories and they made it bigger. But like really, Twitter gets on the forefront of everything.
It does. And thank God, please edit button. Please.
Oh,
He did
man.
a poll for
Edit
that.
tweet or edit
It's like,
reply.
that would be so amazing.
I would love that.
The amount of typos that I've done and that I've had to delete like a post or a tweet that was liked, it just hurts.
Yeah,
you know, and
you're like, you know, they're not going to go back and like them again. Kill us.
No,
Absolutely.
but I definitely support what Elon's doing. It's really exciting to see him come in and buy Twitter. And then now also knowing that there's all these other entities and groups that are buying with him, and seeing Binance with the $500 million. I'm really excited for the state of Twitter over the next while, especially for play to earn crypto and just what that's going to mean for this space in general.
I saw a tweet from, I can't remember what the guy's name was. It's something.eth. He was obviously a pretty important personality, but he was apparently tweeting that he might be hired on their advisory board or something like that. So he's
awesome.
even, you know, there might even be crypto personalities on the board of executives there that we could really, you know, all be able to do what we like in that sense. And obviously we don't want it to be the Wild West, right? You know, we just want it to be not too far to the left, not too far to the right, just like he's saying, just right in the middle in that zone we're all okay with, you know, just like exclude those extremist 20% on either side. That's pretty much what he's trying to keep it in.
And I think also he said it well, where freedom of speech isn't just being able to say what you want, it's being able to respect other people's opinions when they're different than yours.
Exactly.
And being okay with that too.
And that's why I think that's really only, like, the way he's phrasing it, it seems like it only excludes people who are extreme in the first place, which is the people we don't want to interact with on Twitter anyway. Nobody does. You know, we don't like bots. We don't like those fudders. And we don't like those hyper extreme people who are hyper opinionated.
Oh, and getting rid of the bots, please.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you defeat the bots, if we do nothing else than defeat the bots.
When you see like 10 ad mentions and 7 hashtags in one post, you just know.
Yeah. And then you go click on the bot and then it's just another cluster of more ad mentions, and they started their account 2 days ago. Yeah.
And they're everywhere.
Literally
Look
had
at
that
any
happen
social media influencer, look at any big account. They're shilling projects, they're shilling things. It'll be nice to have that cleaned up, you know, and it's funny. There's some people who've even said, like, this isn't a difficult problem. Twitter should have been able to solve this in like 48 hours with 10 engineers done.
Yeah, as far as I can tell,
why has this been running rampant? Now, I'm not a developer. I don't know the complexities there, but what I like about Elon personally is he goes right for the throat for all the problems. When he kind of comes into a company, it's like, here's the 5 main issues we need to tackle. Boom, 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 boom.
I know, love it or
That's
hate it,
great.
that he does want to get things done and will try to find the most direct, let's go and do it way.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Boring Company. He literally invented a boring company so he could solve traffic for himself.
Yeah.
Yes, it was for LA, but it was really for himself too. So his commute would be easier, right? Like, but all the best inventions and ideas usually stem from a problem that needs to be solved, right? And he's just one of those people that finds those problems that need to be solved and just goes and tries to solve them, which, love it or hate the way he does it, I really like that he does it.
Me too.
You know, most people aren't doers in this world. We have a lot of talkers.
That's right. No, yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today, everyone. This was really fun getting a chance to talk about Ragnarok, Labyrinth NFT, and Elon buying Twitter.
Microtransactions.
Right.
Love them, hate them, so many things.
And how Binance is getting involved with Elon, and really exciting just to see where this goes. Obviously, we're going to look forward to seeing you guys in our next episode. We're going to make our point to do our best to do these every single week. If you have any comments, questions, anything you'd like us to cover, definitely leave some information down in the comments below, and join us in our Discord. That's where our community is. You can get a chance to talk to both of us, you know, be part of the discussion, give us some feedback there.
Maybe play some games with us too. We definitely openly game in our voice chats, and I'm usually sharing my screen too. So come join us. Come join the grind.
And until next time, guys, cheers. That was great.
Yeah, dude. We've done that for an hour.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice.